Andy Johnson here. We are looking at word building in a meaningful context. Now, all teachers believe in phonics instruction. Whole language teachers believe in phonics instruction. I'm the holiest of whole language teachers, and I believe in phonics instruction. It is not the what of phonics, but the how and the how much. Now, phonics is one of 4 ways to identify words. Unfortunately, people who define reading merely as sounding out words focus only on phonics. You're giving 1/4 of a reading education. You need also to teach and develop morphemic analysis, analogy or large unit phonics, and context clues or semantics. Now, word identification is when you see a word, it's in your lexicon, but you do not automatically recognize it. You need a strategy, one of the 4 strategies right there. Now, often in reading, we teach the strategy to develop the skill. A strategy is something you consciously apply. I don't know what that word is. I'm going to do one of those. A skill is you do it automatically. You're not aware of it. So we are teaching these things, not so students know how to do these consciously, but so that they do it automatically when they see a word they do not recognize in print. Now, word building is a type of large unit phonics. The goal is for students to recognize letter patterns. That's a form of analogy as they read. The goal is not to do word building activities. We teach the strategy to develop the skill. Word building is you see parts of a word and you put them together. You build them. Sometimes, or this is a form of onset-rime. Onset is the beginning part. Rime is the word family or the other part. Onset-rime, or word building. Now here's an example of word building. Level A, I'm reinforcing that sound. Add, you see the onset there. Gla. Add, what is that? The students put it together and they say glad. All right, that's onset rhyme or word building. At the higher levels, it might look like this. Add, id. Ap, ed. They put them together and form a word. This helps them see letter patterns and word parts when they are reading. Now, one of the problems with this is students are looking at words in isolation. It's not the most effective. It does not reflect reality. Nowhere in my reality do I see a single word out of context. Even a sign is in some context. Even a label is in some context. This also makes it harder to identify words because it takes away the semantic and the syntactic cueing system. Now you can try this yourself. Give the same list of words in a list, put the same words in a sentence. Students always identify words more successfully in the context of a sentence than they do isolation. And looking at words in isolation is not meaning-based. So in reading, do we teach reading subskills? Well, the whole is always greater than the sum of the parts, and often the phonics-based or skills-based approach, they teach all the little parts, thinking that when students master these parts, they'll put them together and they'll be able to read. Whole to part instruction is always more effective and more efficient than this part to whole. And let me give you an example of word building in a meaningful context. Instead of seeing it in isolation, add. It is add. Bad. We simply reinforce sight words here, put it in a sentence. It is bad. Now, this makes it 10 times easier. My students always are better able to identify these words. Yes, they're still looking at word patterns, but they're developing semantics and syntax and reinforcing sight words at the same time. I am add. I am glad. Meaningful context, meaning-based. Are you add. Mad. We are teaching the process to develop the skill. We want students to identify word patterns automatically. He is add. He is sad. We're developing this ability to notice and recognize letter patterns, and we're reinforcing sight words. It's meaning-based. We want to put things in a meaningful context to the greatest extent possible. That's how you develop students' ability to create meaning with print. Reading is not merely sounding out words. It's creating meaning with print. Thus, hence, therefore, we need to put these skills, and yes, we do teach phonics and other subskills, but we try to put them in a meaningful context to the greatest extent possible.